1. All right.
Yeah,
Welcome
yeah,
well, welcome back. Welcome back. Episode 7, week 4
yes,
of
sir.
College Guys Talking Ball. Thanks for joining us for another
Yeah,
review of a great
a
weekend of
great weekend.
sports. Yeah, you had basketball. I guess I don't know why I said basketball first, but
Yeah,
but
so
several sports this weekend. Let's before I
really
stumble
good.
again, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, so the World Series is set, and we'll go and recap the championship that just finished over the weekend, for sure.
Yeah, that was a great series. It was a
It's a
great
great
series.
series.
It was a great series, on the outlook. Actually, we said Thursday that I said it could be one of the classic series, and it ends up
Yep.
being a
It
Phillies in
was,
5. So,
yeah, I did too. So we can both put our hands up for
hands
that.
up,
But
accountability. Yeah, put
yeah.
it up for sure.
So what else?
But
What else you got going on?
other than that, man, we had not necessarily the most marquee weekend, but a fun weekend in college football. And you're starting to also see the NFL, some teams kind of separate themselves, and you're seeing kind of in the NFC some teams that we are expecting to be great that, man, just
Yeah,
really aren't good football teams like the Packers.
yeah.
So so
Yeah.
let's what do you want to dive into first? I
Well,
think we should do.
I'm just
Hey,
going to say it. I mean, I know you're uh we have it here, but I know you're busy working this Saturday, but it actually ended up being really good. We had two top 20 matchups come down to the wire. Oregon flexed their muscles a little bit.
the Ducks. Yep.
TCU answered more questions, and we got a major upset. So I don't really know. It was great for me. The 12 o'clock window that
For
was
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, the noon window was actually a surprisingly kind of decent window, and you also
Did you
saw it.
watch? Did you
Yeah,
not really?
I could
Was it?
watch. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Syracuse Clemson. I was working with my dad. Shout out Georgia Promotions. Get your T-shirts, promotional items, anything there. I expect a little 5% cut
Yep.
if you get anything from the college guys talking ball,
Yeah.
Dad. So, but we were keeping up with all the games as we were working. So I did actually get to keep up with Syracuse and some of the other games that are going on at
Yeah.
noon. But
So
yeah, man,
I guess we should go and get into baseball first, I guess.
kind of get it over with. Yeah, why not? Right,
Yeah,
right.
so like we were saying, the NLCS was looking, like it was going to be a good series, but the Phillies, the home field advantage, pulled away and they were clearly the better team in the series. In the Phillies 4 wins, they out-homered the Padres 9-3. And that's clearly been the formula to winning this postseason. And I'm really curious to see how the Phillies sluggers match up with the Astros' dominant pitching. If they can continue to get homers from Hoskins and Schwarber, I think they could. They have a legit shot here. If not, they probably aren't going to out homer the Houston. And then, that's been the formula's entire postseason. If you out homer
Absolutely.
your opponent, you win. Shout out to Harper, though. Swing of a lifetime. I saw it live. Probably one of the best swings I've ever seen in a long time, or one of the best swings I've seen like on live
Yeah,
TV.
that was a great swing. Great swing.
And like we were talking about, dude, it for sure 100% justifies his contract. I think
Absolutely.
you basically send your team to the World Series on one swing. That's worthy of $300 million, I think.
I mean, when you think about contracts like that, how often do players really truly live up to
It's
those deals? I mean, even a guy like, a Scherzer
yeah.
or some of the other guys in the league, like they're playing good, but how often can you really justify the contract that
Well,
Harper's got like he is
yeah.
doing, which is so special to see what he's doing, to justify the fact, man, we paid this guy. I'm not sure, but at the time I remember it being a big deal, 300 plus million, and
Yeah.
thinking, man, you're paying this guy over multiple years, at a huge AAV, and man, has he done nothing but just justify it.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and
they were dead in the water, like, kind of mid-season, and then because he was hurt, he was gone for a while. He comes back, re-energizes the team. You look up, they're in the World Series. It's kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, what do you kind of take away from the series?
I don't know how much I really take away other than the fact the Phillies are just a rolling train with all the momentum in the world right now.
Yeah,
Obviously, in the World Series, I think we talked about this with some of the guys. The Astros are carrying their own momentum into this, but you almost feel like, Man, the Phillies are just really, really rolling right now.
Yeah.
Really, really rolling. Like you said, Philly sluggers. Yeah, Hoskins hadn't been a sluggers in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And but when you have a guy like that regain his form, that's how you go to the World Series with unlikely candidates. If you have Schwarber continue to step up, Harper's probably going to produce. I hope he doesn't go 0 for 20 now that I said it, because it seems like everything I say, the opposite ends or happens right now. But man, the Phillies, they're a rolling train with a lot of momentum, and the city of Philadelphia is just on cloud nine right now, which as a Cowboys fan, I'm sure that's not getting you all fired up. But
Yeah. Not really.
it's cool to see. Sometimes, obviously I wish my dog was still in the fight with the Braves, but sometimes it is cool to kind of see these underdog stories. I can appreciate it as a Braves fan. I should appreciate it. That was us
And
last year. So
I guess I'll just quick little note about Hoskins is so he had 4 home runs this series. Only 5 games were played. That's
very
pretty good.
impressive.
And while Harper, without a doubt, deserves the NLCS MVP, I think Hoskins actually did play a little better. The home runs he hit, not were in bigger spots, but having
Yeah,
4 homers,
yeah.
that's pretty.
Like I said, I really
But
don't
both
think
of them, it's
Hoskins usually just swings at air. And,
yeah,
he's not a real great. Or I haven't seen him hit, like I said, in a couple of years. And he has shown that he can hit, and he hits
he,
well at
he
home.
sure can.
So he had the bank on fire this weekend. I put in here, great run for the Padres. I guess you got to give them their
Yeah,
credit. Sometimes a run like that can be a confidence builder for an organization that maybe didn't know they could go that far, or didn't. Sometimes everybody's goal is a World Series, but not every organization really believes they can. And I think that this run to the NLCS does a lot for the Padres' confidence, especially out in the NL West. The fact that they could, the fact that they could beat the Dodgers.
I know. And
No offense,
it's
no
the same,
offense.
but it's the same thing with the
It
Phillies.
is,
You know what
it
I
is,
mean?
it is, it is,
But
it is.
nevertheless, the Phillies are in the World Series, so we got to give them their credit because
Well,
there's pretty remarkable run by them.
what about the Padres though, and their NL West
It's
outlook in the future?
I don't know. I mean, like you have here, Soto's coming up, free agency.
Yeah.
Hader, who knows what they're gonna do with these guys? I don't know, man. They
Well, they'll have Grisham for the foreseeable future, and he seemed to get it done against
yeah
you guys.
he yeah he got it done. He got it done against the Phillies too. He was 0 for 20. So
Well, he got, like I said, you can't really hate on him, man. He kind of he was good. He was good for the first couple series, but he's really more of an inside joke between me and TJ for the crowd.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, let's move on to the ALCS.
all right.
Get Phillies. There's your flowers. Congratulations. You get the Houston Astros. Astros. Wow.
Yeah, congrats. And like you were saying, I think it's crazy. Well, this is gonna be the last point about Phillies.
Yeah.
But like you were saying about the momentum, it's hard to like imagine, because the Phillies do have the momentum,
Yes.
but the Astros haven't lost in the postseason yet. So
Oh my gosh. I didn't even
yeah,
really think
they're
about that.
7-0.
Wow.
And I'm not saying they're gonna, sweep the Phillies, but it's just like, they're not losing.
They're
And their
clearly
guys,
playing good baseball right now too.
yeah, so I guess let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we alluded to last episode, the Astros sweep. The series is over before we even hit the air
Yeah,
for the next
we
time.
said we
And
did
both
predict
both
that.
series, yeah, both series ended up being over. This one's pretty ugly for the Yankees and their organization. Pretty much just getting beaten all facets of the game. These 4 games, getting swept in pinstripes in October feels like a kick in the heart.
Yankees
It
lose.
feels like a kick in the heart for the people in the Bronx. I feel really bad for them. But let's face it.
Not so much.
This
Yeah,
team
not so
just
much.
this team just wasn't very good. They
Nope.
didn't hit at all during the series. They had very unreliable players, and the Astros pitching equalized. They're big sluggers, I guess you could say. I don't want to take anything from the Astros though. They truly have been dominant in the AL in the last 6 years. What is this, their fourth World Series? And they did, just what they had to this series and on offense and, behind dominant pitching, you look up, it's 3-0, the Yankees are now swept and they're gone. And I
Yeah,
think,
$18 tickets. $18
yeah,
tickets in Yankee Stadium last night.
I do think they go on to win the World Series, but we'll probably get into that next show. But yeah, back to the Yankees.
We'll see.
The biggest question they have now is whether or not the AL MVP Aaron Judge is going to resign. Personally, I think he does just because it's New
Okay.
York, and God bless the New York front office if they don't, give this guy exactly what he wants. But
But
you
you
agree there?
do you no, not really. To be honest, I don't think he's
Yeah,
staying. And
but
I
if you
think
let it, if you let a guy like that walk, you go from first place. We
dude,
kind of have a
I don't think the expectation right now, at least in Yankee Nation, is
yeah.
not the expectation is that he will not be back on the team. I don't think. I
I
mean, at
I've
least that's
I guess
the vibes that I've been getting the past couple of
I
weeks.
that's the vibes I've been getting too. But we have to let free agency develop a little more. I mean, there's no way the Yankees aren't gonna try
I
and
mean,
give him some sort of money because we
you're also
know.
asking a Braves fan who just, we lost Freddie. So obviously, like
Okay, true, but
sometimes sometimes teams don't sign their
you're
franchise
right.
guys.
But
Like,
the Yankees just tried to offer him, 200 something million, and he declined it.
yeah, he
And
laughed at it.
he laughed at it. It's like he should. But all right. So let's talk about Game 4 for a second. I think it was pretty emblematic of this Yankees team
Yeah,
just
very
showing its
very
true
back and
colors.
forth.
They get out to a 3-0 lead, looking like, oh, they're going to survive at least another day. Then Jeremy Pena, ALCS MVP, comes up, hits a game tying 3-run homer. And then later in the game, a mishap between a feed from Gleyber Torres. I saw it, dude. It was so bad.
I saw that
Just
too. Yeah.
wide right, yeah. Leads to another run for Houston. And then at that point, the Yankees had already scored as many runs as they could, 5. And then Houston goes on to win 6-5.
Yep.
Um,
Bad news bears, man.
and just to hit back on their players, just so I can list out some guys. I mean, Jose Trevino, Kiner Falefa, Donaldson, Oswald Cabrera, Stanton, Gleyber Torres. I
Stanton,
mean,
that's
come
so
on, man.
tough.
These guys are not really good, and they damn sure aren't going to out homer
It's
anyone.
so
So
upsetting,
that's
dude.
that's where the Yankees, I think,
It's
need
it's
to,
it's it's just
reevaluate.
it's just so upsetting though, because you list out like the fact that you have to put Stanton there, like
Mm-hmm.
then Donaldson there, and like I mean, I don't care what you say, like Trevino, that's an all-star. Like these guys,
Well, Stan's an all-star too.
exactly, and he's been a homer champ before too, like in the league. But like I
Okay,
said,
Ethan, in game 3, bro, they had one hit.
yeah,
The
I
Yankees
know
had one,
that's what I'm saying. It's
and
just
it was
crazy.
Stanton. It was Stanton, and my dad said that not that the ball was going to get caught by any means, but there was a possibility of it getting caught. So the ball gets caught, the Yankees get no hit, and that's a way bigger deal.
Yeah, I know, dude. The Yankees suck, dude. Like, there's no, I know, but for me, I think
But where do you think
you
they
know,
go from here?
I don't want to be that guy. Like I said, we live in Georgia, dude. I've never even been up to New York or really too far up north, to see a whole bunch of crowds of Yankees fans. But it's almost like the fans, like, do you expect this team to win every night? You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
even though you felt like they started strong and finished poor, the truth of the matter is, yes, they finished a little slower than they started, but I mean, you're asking for 100 wins and you're
yeah.
getting 100 wins.
There was
And,
no love
and,
there
and
for
you have
sure.
a guy set that, the American League homer record. Y'all are literally cutting into my football, and not only that, Garrett Cole gets the strikeout record
Yeah,
for you guys single
and
season.
Cole had a great year.
And we acting like the Yankees, they were awful. And I even just said they suck, but maybe they're not playing well now, but they're not playing well now because that negativity from the fan base is kind of leaking into the play of the guys on the field. And you hate to say that and you hate to blame the fans, but I really do think they deserve some of the blame. And that's also why I'm saying I think Aaron Judge is going to leave New York, because how they were booing him. I mean, he
Yeah,
carried them on his back the entire year. And that's why you get owned by the Astros. That's why you get owned by Bregman, Altuve, Alvarez, Verlander. And then you got, like you said, guys like Pena, even a guy like Chas McCormick, who
two
cannot hit
homers,
and has
two
big
homers in this
homers
series.
against you guys. The Astros laughed at the Yankees,
They
and they
did.
played like they were better than the Yankees, and they swept them.
Yep.
And it wasn't
That's
close.
there's really nothing more, and just that's yeah. The Astros they have that one leg up, two leg up on the Yankees now for a long time.
It's just a dominance that you don't really get to see often in baseball. But I have a
Yeah.
question for you though, real quick, before we moved on to some college
Yeah.
football. You're a Cowboys fan. Your dad's a Cowboys fan. Your family's Cowboys fan. So you know that you guys beat the Bills twice, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Twice.
'90s
Yes.
on their 4-year Super Bowl
Yeah.
loss run. Is it possible that you don't want to predict the future? You don't know what can happen, especially with baseball. With the way the NL went, you can see that. But
Yeah.
the Astros lost to the Braves last year. If I'm not mistaken, they lost to the Nationals a couple years ago. They're about to head into another World Series with a team that's really hot. And if you say the Phillies have no chance, I don't care who you are, that you're just wrong. They may not win. They
That's
got a
wrong.
chance. If the Astros lose again, I mean, you're starting to look at kind of a Bills-esque
Yeah.
record in the World Series. What can you say
I
about that?
I would agree. I would agree. Yeah, but I think they have to lose first, and then I can really entertain it because they do have that. They already have that, World Series.
Against who?
Regardless if it's cheating or
Who are
not,
they playing
I
in
don't.
that one?
They did play the Dodgers, and they did beat the Dodgers. But yeah, like you said, they lost to the Braves, lost to the Nats. Here they are again, another opportunity. If they don't win it, they'll be 1-3, right? So that's
And they're 0 and
that
2 in
is
the 20s. Like I said,
yeah,
Bills of the 20s.
that's
Bills of the 20s.
that's Bills-esque. I can get there.
Uh, that's tough. 4 in a
Yeah,
row's a little brutal.
yeah, that's brutal.
But
Let's
they could win the next 2 ALs and lose 2
yeah,
straight. So, but yeah, man, good series, I guess. Hopefully, hoping for a good World Series so we can at least tune in, enjoy a little
yeah,
bit of the games. But let's move on to Saturday. What was like I said, always a good Saturday when there's football on, especially in the fall. Um, my first takeaway right here is you got Ohio State, Tennessee, and Alabama just taking care of business when they
yep,
should. They're all favored by a wide margin, and Ohio State won 54-10. Tennessee put 60 points up, and the Tide whipped Mississippi State on Saturday night. And Bryant Denny.
yep.
It doesn't make the playoff picture any clearer when teams like this don't slip up. And right now, we're looking at a college football landscape where the playoff, you're kind of
Yeah,
seeing, maybe not right now, but in a couple weeks, how things can get a little murky, man.
I agree. Yeah. So first game that I had my eyes on, just Oklahoma State. They hold off number 20 Texas, and what I think was probably the best game of the week. It was a 3:30, came down to the end. Thing for me for Texas is they're not very good on defense, and sitting at 3 losses, they're pretty much done. I was watching the Texas game, and Oklahoma State had a little completion for about 12 yards. The Texas defenders came in to try and tackle him. No one tackled him,
That's
and
Big 12
he
defense.
he ran off for like a 60-yard touchdown, and then that kind of put the game,
Yep.
on ice. But yeah, so Oklahoma State holds off number 20 Texas. Texas just doesn't look very good. I highly doubt they'll be ranked, or doesn't that hasn't that already came out?
Yeah, they're not ranked.
I don't think they're
Out of the
ranked
polls.
anymore. Yeah, Oklahoma.
Um,
I mean, good win for them, I guess. But
that's kind of the MO of the Big 12. Teams kind of beating each other up, especially in the middle of that pack. So yeah, I agree. Texas is just not good on defense. They're not good enough. And people, like I wrote down, they're going to be the team that people just remember almost beat Alabama, which,
yeah,
oh, great. There's your participation award, but that doesn't count for anything in my book.
yeah,
The best game of the week for me though was Clemson Syracuse in Clemson. Y'all, if you guys watch, very tightly contested game. Syracuse storms out to a lead. Clemson's actually down in the fourth quarter. They take Big DJ out of the game. Cade Klubnik comes in, drives them down the field. The defense steps up in the second half, and Cade Klubnik comes off the bench to lead the Tigers to a gritty win. Keeps them in the playoff conversation, keeps them undefeated, keeps them in front of the ACC standing. So give the Tigers credit, but man, a couple time management mistakes by Syracuse, and this game was tight, wasn't it, TJ?
yeah. So I would say Syracuse. I wouldn't say they blew it. But they kind of did blow it. But I would give all the credit to Clemson. I'm still buying them. They keep their college football playoff hopes alive after DJ struggles mightily. But the defense, they really stepped up in the second half, and maybe you don't think so, but I actually think this is a good, really good win for Clemson. Because the only ranked game they have left is South Carolina, and that's the last game of the year. Who knows if they'll even be ranked? And like you
Yeah,
said, they
true.
they went to Cade. Klubnik, and they ended up winning the game. I think that's huge for their morale. I don't know where they're going to go here as far as like quarterback.
Did you see?
But
Did you see what Cade said after the game?
what do you say?
He said his DJ's team. Like so.
Okay.
So I guess from what he had to
Okay.
say,
Okay.
that was a temporary change there just to win the game. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that, but hey, if it works, it works, right? You
Yeah.
know.
And I mean, yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm still buying Clemson, dude. Their defense is really good. Syracuse had a lot of turnovers, but Clemson defense held them to nothing, and then that was the reason that they were able to have an opportunity to score and come out on top.
Yeah. Yep. They couldn't cash in on some big opportunities,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially against a team of the caliber of Clemson, that's just not going to fly. Let's move right back out to the Big 12 of
Yeah,
your
so
favorite conference, I guess.
yeah, the TCU Horned Frogs, they stay undefeated. This is probably, I don't know, it's like I guess the story of the week.
It's a
I
great
guess
win. Great
story of
win.
the Saturday. The Frogs come back down from 11 at halftime and end up winning by 10. Max Dugan and his buddy Kendre Miller, they connect for 2 touchdowns. The Frogs have now won 4 straight games against ranked teams, and they do have quite the resume for the college football, playoff committee.
Yep.
Happen they win out and win the Big 12. I don't think there's any reason that they're not going to get in, but we'll see. Same thing with Clemson. They have no ranked opponents remaining, and yeah, it could make it interesting on the playoff committee.
Yeah.
I'm putting all my coins in the Frogs.
I mean, sure,
All
go
my
ahead.
coin.
I can't blame you. I'm not gonna say I'm putting mine there, but I can't blame you for doing that. They're starting to shut me up week by week. This is a team that
Okay,
continues to find ways to win. So
okay. So here's the thing, though, is Ohio State and Michigan are both going to be ahead of them, and one of those teams is
somebody
going to
has to
lose.
lose. Yeah.
And then if TCU doesn't lose, then you kind of pray for like a team like Clemson to maybe slip up, and then they could be right in, or Tennessee ends up losing.
There's just so many. Alabama's already got a
Yeah,
loss, and
yeah,
then Tennessee or Georgia has to lose. So Tennessee's going to lose, and then Ohio State or Michigan has to lose. Like,
yeah,
it does look murky, but teams like the SEC championship, whether you get a rematch between Bama and Georgia, or between Tennessee and Bama, and then or you get Bama and Georgia, like that decides a lot. Somebody has to lose those games. It will definitely clear up, but right now, it's like there's literally like 8 or 9 teams that can make it.
yeah. And TCU would end up playing like a team like Oklahoma State in the Big 12,
which they can beat.
and Oklahoma State will probably be hovering around top 10-ish, top 15-ish. And
they'll be ranked.
if they win that, then that's gonna be another great win.
But then again, the Big 12, Oklahoma State, like they could win that game. But
yeah.
actually,
just spoil everything.
Yeah, out west though, in the Pac-12, it looks like to me we have a new favorite. It seems like we have a new one every week, so this could change. Very, very fluid favorite in that conference. Oregon, man, they whipped UCLA at home. Bo Nix, near perfect performance. They definitely showed up with College Game Day there in Eugene. The Georgia win, I love it over Oregon as a Georgia fan. I'm rooting for the Ducks
starting to look.
The Ducks every week, man.
Yeah.
They're looking good. They're looking tough and physical. In the Pac-12, TJ, do you have any thoughts on where the Ducks stand and their chances on the playoff Pac-12 championship?
Yeah, so Oregon is really, really good, and I'll just go and say it's probably unlikely, but their outside shot of making it is something to look forward to.
Yep.
Because I'll say, if there's one team that I would, say, oh, they can win out and they end up winning the Pac-12, they're not gonna fall off. It's gonna be Oregon. It seems like they do it every year. They usually have one loss that just kind of ruins their season. It was Ohio State last year.
No,
I guess
they
it's
beat
Georgia now.
They beat
Ohio State. Yeah, they beat Ohio State. I'm sorry. Who did they lose to last year?
They lose. They've lost some games. I don't know for sure, but they always drop a game.
You're
in the right direction.
I think they lost to like Utah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ohio State did beat them.
Yeah, but no. I don't think that they should be defined by their game against Georgia. I mean, if Georgia really is the number one team, I think that they're going to be, that's technically the best loss. You'd rather not lose by 46 points if you were Oregon, but they do have an outside chance, and they have an identity, man. They're starting to play hard, they're starting to play fast, and they're starting to win, and they're starting to win big. So, man, it just really is.
Hold on, man. Did
It.
I say Oregon beat Ohio
You
State
said
or did
Oregon.
not?
You said Oregon lost to Ohio State.
No, yeah, they beat them.
They
They beat
beat
them.
them, yeah, on the road
Yeah,
last year.
yeah,
But that's what I was nervous about that. But
yeah.
man, it's very murky. I guess after this week, let's do a top four on the fly.
Okay, well, I'll just say just a quick point about Oregon. Dan Lanning has been very impressive in his first year as head coach.
Yeah,
Also, Bo Nix, like you were saying earlier, has been taking care of the ball. 1 turnover the last 5 games. That's pretty efficient.
very good.
I know he had like 3 against Georgia, but
Yeah,
that's
well,
Bo. That's
that's what he
Bo.
does.
That's
That's what he
Bo
does.
against Georgia. Yeah, but I guess you want to just
Yeah, do
before
a
we do
top four.
four, just what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, man. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pretty
I
big
guess
weekend.
we'll touch a little bit more
Yeah.
on it, but I'm going to the Georgia Florida game. I hate Florida, man. I know where they stand. We'll definitely preview it on Thursday, but I'm starting to get jacked up. Me and my buddy Jack and Mason and my dad are going to be headed down there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, y'all. Though TJ's coming up to Athens for Georgia, Tennessee, so
Yeah,
I don't think
I'll be
he's not too
I'll be
upset with me. So, but
the Southern,
should be a fun weekend.
but
What
yeah,
what'd you say?
I said I think Southern has a home game. Probably not going to go to it, but
You talking about no this week they're off. They're off.
they're
Southern's off
off.
this
They have
week.
a bye. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Southern's off. Shout
Yeah,
out to Georgia Southern, by the way.
they did beat Old Dominion, right?
Old
Yeah.
Dominion to move to 5-3, which cashes my win total and several of my friends. So shout out Georgia Southern. Shout out Texas A&M for losing their 4th game. So they will officially go under 8.5 regular
All right.
season wins. Another future banged.
I know you've been pretty nails on those so far,
Pretty
but
hot.
let's keep it rolling.
Top four, real quick.
Oh, top 4. I'll go 1 Ohio State, 2 Georgia, 3 Tennessee, 4. I'll stick with Michigan.
I'm going 1 Georgia, 2 Ohio State, 3 Tennessee, 4 TCU.
Okay.
The ranked wins. The ranked
The
wins are
Horned
doing it for
Frogs.
me.
They
The
they
ranked
do
wins are
speak
doing
for
it for me,
themselves.
and nobody's paying me for my opinion. So,
Yeah. Well, like you said, but Ohio State, I didn't touch on them. They whooped.
yeah, they dominated.
Yeah.
But Iowa. Let's move to the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I guess I'm not. I guess I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'm not going to start with the first thing. I'm going to do the second thing first.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
Baltimore, like we said last episode, must win. They did pick up the win. Lamar didn't play great here, but nevertheless, a win is a win in the NFL. Their defense played good. Justin Tucker made big field goals like usual.
Always.
Baltimore picks up a win here.
Yeah, the Ravens, man. That's a great win. Great division win.
I mean, you remember last episode we were talking about the teams that got to win. The Bucks, the Packers.
Some of them didn't.
The Baltimore's the only one that ends up picking up a win. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but you got to give them credit. They played a great game Sunday. I actually did get to keep track of that one a little bit, and Lamar does it again. That under center toss sweep, that was pretty cool. Mark Andrews under center toss sweep to Lamar Jackson like he's freaking like he's Walter Payton or something. But yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of quick whip around, but I want you to I want you to have your spiel about Dak being back. How was that game? What was it like seeing number 4 back on the field?
It was good. It was good. And yeah, so I'll talk about Dallas for a second because I think a lot of people think they played badly on offense. I watched the game through and through in Taco Mac.
Yeah.
And I think that would be
wings.
very disrespectful to their run game. They were able, their ground game was awesome. And the overall game plan, just for the game, they were very conservative with Dak. He was really efficient. They didn't really take shots in his first game back, and I'm okay with that.
If you guys would have lost, you wouldn't have been.
Because I think they were they were relying on the defense, and the defense did step up again. But also, like I said, their ground game, Elliott and Pollard combined for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
Courtesy of Elliott. I'd imagine they're going to work on some of the down the field plays this week against Chicago.
Get CD open up the seam.
But yeah, dude. I'll be honest. seeing Dak back it's mixed feelings all the time, but I think he made some good throws. Definitely didn't make some of the best decisions, but he, like I said, he was very efficient. I think he was 19 for 25 with like 207 and a touchdown. Like,
Yeah, you got to give him a rust fact. I mean, he's a little rusty.
and this game was a lot closer, of course, than people think. It
For a little
was,
bit, for a little bit.
yeah, but going into the fourth quarter, the Lions were on the goal line. It had looked like their tight end got in, and then his knee was down. He was down at the one, and then they fumble on the
Hawkinson,
first play.
Hawkinson.
It wasn't
Okay,
Hawkinson.
yeah,
I don't know the guy's name, but
because I didn't start
Hawkinson
Hawkinson, so
Hawkinson was pretty quiet.
yeah, of course he was. He's always quiet, but hey, man, good win, dude. I'm happy for you. You got your quarterback back. It's always a good thing. Uh, talk about a quarterback that never is out. Patrick Mahomes, only a 1 point favorite. Sunday in San Francisco.
And wins by 20.
Wins by 21, I think. The Chiefs, can anyone compete with them? I don't think so, really.
I mean,
Teams
the
can't get
Bills,
the Bills, but
the
other than those,
Bengals.
the Bengals, I don't know. They haven't beat them this year. They beat them last year, but I don't know. It's just they're just such a regular season juggernaut that if you're not one of the top 5 teams, good luck against Kansas City right now. Speaking of the Bengals, maybe you have a little hatred against them. They just air it out against Atlanta, my team. Tough game.
Yeah. They
Five
they
five
spread their.
DBs out, 5 DBs out, but y'all don't want to hear
What
why.
does that even? What does that even mean? They spread their wings a bit.
Because we're the Falcons, man. They're the ones that took flight. They almost threw 500 yards, if not that many. I need to go probably check that.
Yeah,
When I checked, it
no,
was
it's
like
like
480.
480. Yeah,
480, yeah.
they
Uh,
scratch their claws. So they're tigers over there.
yeah,
So
they definitely beat you know us pretty bad. So
yeah, they
uh,
scratched y'all and they gutted y'all right up the middle.
yeah,
So
I maybe the best
they're
thing we didn't take flight Sunday, but
yeah,
um, the Falcons are a whole different conversation. Just because the Bucks and the Packers both lose, leaving a lot of teams at 3-4, including the 2 teams I just listed. The Bucks lose to the Panthers. I'm not really all that surprised. It was an in-division game, which usually calls for closer matchups than out-of-division games, and they've looked
yeah,
slow and sluggish on offense. Evans with a big drop. You have to think if he makes that catch,
huge drop.
they go up 7-0. It probably snowballs on the Panthers. Long story short, he drops it, and then they lose 21-3. I don't know if it correlates, but you would have liked to see that be a touchdown.
Yeah.
Packers lose to the Commanders on the road, and they just look stagnant. Can we get any opinions on Rodgers or Brady, or what are your thoughts here, man?
Yes. I guess so. Do you want to just ask a question?
Yeah,
Who are more worried about? Rodgers or Brady? And I guess which team do you think turns it around?
yeah. I'm gonna say that I'm worried more about Rodgers. They don't have as many weapons as the Bucks have. The Bucks aren't running the ball very well. I think they're actually last in rushing
Yeah,
offense right
they
now.
aren't.
But you still know that they have Fournette. If they figure some stuff out up front, they still have Evans, still have Godwin, still
Yeah.
have Gage. If you could be laughing, whatever. They still have guys, even Julio Jones if he gets healthy, and obviously have a guy who's won it 7 times under center. Rodgers has only won it once, and he's only won it once for a reason. He's not really that
Yeah.
much of a proven winner in the playoffs. So for that reason, I'm sticking with Brady. And Rodgers just doesn't look very good right now. He doesn't look like he wants to be out there. So
Yeah, I'll say Rodgers too because I think, like you just said, he's kind of headed towards maybe not wanting to play football anymore.
right, yeah,
Or at least that's what his I don't know, he's just
body
kind of
language.
yeah, his body language and the presser, things like that. And for the team to turn around, I think it's going to be the Bucks. They're in a bad division, which they are still remarkably
Tied.
in
They're
first
tied,
place,
actually tied for first with the Falcons,
but they're actually in first because
but
they
they're
beat the.
tied. But they're tied.
When you beat a team head
But
to
the
head, you're
season's
in
not
first.
over. If the
And
season's not over
I
yet.
don't think it's panic time, really. I don't think it's panic time for uh, the Bucks, just
No.
because they're not behind or anything. They've got a lot of time to turn around. But I guess here's another little question, because we are kind of getting closer to the halfway point of the season.
Yep.
Who's been the most surprising team for you so far?
I'll say the Giants. I think that's probably most everybody's answer. I
Except
don't.
me.
Yeah. Well, not you, obviously, but the Giants. Nobody expected them to be 6-1, which they are right now, correct? 6-1.
Yeah.
And to be honest, once they got to like 3-1 and 4-1, I pretty much thought they were going to lose every game since. So
Yeah.
they continue to prove me wrong even after a hot start. So that's why they're surprising to me. What about you, man? The Giants are great, but there are some other teams for sure.
Yeah, so I'll go with another team. I'll say the Vikings here. Just because they've really taken care of business. They have squeaked out a few wins, but those wins are wins that the
Wins
Packers
are
aren't
wins.
getting.
Yep.
So yeah, they're now 2.5 games up on the Packers, which is huge. They already beat them once, which gives them a huge advantage. And I'll say the Seahawks are a close second for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
The
that's a good
Seahawks are
team.
leading the NFC West. I mean, who would have thought that with the 49ers and the Rams? Definitely not me. Even the
Uh,
Cardinals, I would have said the Cardinals would be better than the
over
Seahawks.
Seattle, yeah, for sure. I
Yes.
shout out Seattle, man, for real.
Yeah.
You lose Russell Wilson as a fan. I'm sure they were the Seahawks fans, which I don't know if we know any, but they were pretty much trembling. I
Yeah.
mean, I as I would be when you use your franchise quarterback, and now you're seeing Russell just kind of be awful, and Geno Smith's been fantastic. So you couldn't really ask for much better from Seattle because Russ, even in the last couple of years in Seattle, hasn't been as good as Geno is this year.
Yeah. And let me just, before we close up on the NFL and move on to the, I guess, NBA and our prop review, close out the show, just want to talk for a second about how overrated Justin Herbert is. Coming off a 10-point loss to the Seahawks.
Yeah,
They tried to compare this guy to Mahomes and Allen. I mean, no, Mahomes and Allen are 5-2 and 5-1 respectively.
Herbert's
Herbert is
four and
three and
three.
four.
He's 4-3.
Is he
4-3.
4-3?
4-3.
Are you sure, bro?
4-3. 4-3. Yes,
Okay, so
absolutely.
he's 4-3.
Yes.
And it's not like they have a lack of weapons. I'm just selling all the Herbert hype. I think Burrow's way better.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know if I haven't even thought about throwing Burrow's name in there, but yeah, I agree. Anytime you're compared to Mahomes and Allen, you better freaking produce. You better win, and he hasn't done that at a consistent level. Let's just touch on some NBA. Touch on our props real quick. I personally, if y'all remember, I had Lutz over 1.5 field goals last Thursday. He cashed that at the end of the game. Now I'm 2-1. TJ, what about your prop? I think
Yeah.
this one made me happy on Sunday, man. My fantasy
Yeah,
bag.
I had Elliott over, I guess, half a rushing touchdown. So just to get a rushing touchdown, he ended up getting two.
Two.
Uh, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's great for all fantasy owners, if anyone even still has him in the lineup. But
I
yeah,
hey, hey,
let's
hey, 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 hey.
let's
Hey, my other running back was on bye, man. Come on.
well, let's move on to NBA real quick. Do you have anything first few
Um,
games?
just it's always fun when the NBA season comes back because you really remember how much these guys are really superstars, and it's fun to watch
It's
the
fun to watch.
superstars. It's fun to watch the superstars play like superstars. Morant, Doncic, Curry, Durant, Donovan Mitchell, dude, looks like an MVP candidate in Cleveland. I mean, these stars are all
Yeah.
showing up and they're scoring 35 points a night.
Moran is,
Morant
yeah.
is really is, and Curry's up in the top 5 in scoring as
Yeah.
well. This is really it's fun to. I forgot about the NBA too. Sometimes you forget about a sport when you haven't watched it in a while. But
Yeah. So I guess I guess we'll do props next show. Do you have a prop for tonight or
I actually haven't looked. I have the over in the Warriors game though. So anybody,
okay, so I guess that's your prop then.
that's my pick, I guess.
So for me, NBA season, so yeah, like we were talking about Morant, I think he's been amazing. I think he looks like the MVP, I guess, through the first 4 games, if that's even a thing. Um, the Trailblazers, though, surprisingly undefeated. I mean, no one saw that coming. I
Yeah,
guess.
but it is. Give them their all right. Give them their shout out, but
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. But I don't. I think you can't be like, okay, if the Lakers are 2-2, we're not worried. You can't weigh them the same. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You have to
but
give. I think you got to give the
that's
Blazers there.
got to give them credit. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and then our Hawks, Ethan, they're 2-1. I mean, I can't lie, man. I'm a little concerned.
On the defensive side of the ball, for
They
sure.
just they didn't blow it against a Charlotte, but it's a game they should have won. And then they had easy 2 first games. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The NBA's been great, man.
and
Let's
then the
just
Lakers, of course, struggling to no one's
yeah.
surprise.
They got Braun, but poor Braun's alone. And thank you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks
Another
for
great
watching.
episode, y'all. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a good week.